The rain pounded against the windows of Chen Industries' executive conference room, matching my dark mood perfectly. Across the massive glass table, my mother-in-law Victoria Chen sat like a queen on her throne, flanked by my sister-in-law Rebecca and my brother-in-law Michael, the same three people who had spent the last 5 years trying to erase every trace of my existence from the company my late husband James and I had built together. "Sign the papers, Sarah," Victoria said, her voice dripping with false concern. "It's time to move on. James has been gone for 5 years. You need to accept that you're not part of this family anymore." I stared at the buyout agreement in front of me. A mere $2 million for my 25% stake in a company worth billions. The same company where I'd worked 80-hour weeks alongside James, developing revolutionary medical devices that had changed countless lives. $2 million is more than generous," Rebecca added, adjusting her Cartier bracelet with a smug smile. "Considering you came into this family with nothing." The words stung, but they weren't new. I'd heard variations of them ever since I met James in graduate school, where we both studied biomedical engineering. To his family, I was never good enough. Just a scholarship student from a middle-class background who had trapped their golden boy. They never knew about the nights James and I spent in our tiny apartment, sketching prototypes for our first medical device. They never knew I sold my car to fund our initial patent, or how we pitched to dozens of investors before finally getting our first break. "The board meeting is in 30 minutes, Michael said, checking his Rolex. "Sign now and we'll announce the consolidation of ownership. Unless," his smirk sharpened, "unless you want us to reveal how emotionally unstable you've been since James's death." My hand trembled slightly as I reached for the pen. Since James's fatal car accident, they had systematically pushed me out, first from my position as head of research and development, then from the board, using their combined shares to outvote me at every turn. I had fought back at first, but they made my life hell, spreading rumors about my mental health, suggesting I married James for money, even implying I'd had something to do with his accident. Now they were threatening to weaponize my grief counseling sessions against me if I didn't sell. 30 seconds, Sarah," Victoria warned. "Sign, or we'll make sure everyone knows how unstable you really are." Just then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't sign anything. Trust me." "I need the bathroom," I said suddenly, standing. "Sit down," Victoria snapped. "Sign first." "It's either the bathroom now or I throw up on your buyout agreement," I replied calmly. "Your choice." Rebecca wrinkled her nose. "Let her go. She's stalling." In the elegant bathroom, I splashed cold water on my face. The text had to be a mistake. No one was coming to help me. I was alone, just as I had been since James died. My fingers brushed the small gold locket around my neck, James's last gift to me. Inside was a tiny key, though I'd never figured out what it opened. "For the future," he had said with that mysterious smile of his, just days before the accident. A soft knock startled me. "Mrs. Chen." I opened the door to find a tall, elegant woman with silver-streaked black hair. She looked vaguely familiar, though I couldn't place her. "I'm Linda Wong," she said quietly. "And I believe we need to talk before you make a huge mistake." My heart stopped. Linda Wong, CEO of Wong Enterprises, one of the largest medical technology companies in Asia. But what was she doing here? "I don't understand," I whispered. She smiled, reminding me suddenly of James. 5 years ago, my daughter, Maria, was diagnosed with a rare heart condition. The doctor said she wouldn't survive. Then they tried a new device, one you and James developed. She's now in medical school herself. I remembered the case. One of our first successes. "What you don't know," Linda continued, "is that James reached out to me before his death. He was worried about his family's intentions. He left something in my safekeeping, something meant for you when the time was right." From her briefcase she withdrew a folder. "I've spent 5 years watching them try to destroy you, waiting for the moment they made their move. That moment is today, isn't it?" I nodded numbly. "Then it's time." He handed me the folder. "Everything you need is in here, including what that key around your neck opens." My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside were documents, emails, and a letter in James's handwriting that made my blood run cold. "The board meeting starts in 10 minutes, Linda said softly. "Are you ready to take back what's yours?" I touched the locket, feeling the key inside. After 5 years of darkness, I finally saw light. Yes, I whispered. I'm ready. Walking back into the conference room, I felt different, stronger. Victoria, Rebecca, and Michael looked up expectantly, the buyout agreement still waiting. Ready to sign? Victoria asked smugly. I smiled, channeling James's quiet confidence. Actually, I think it's time for the board meeting. And I have a few surprises of my own. What are you talking about? Michael demanded. You'll see, I said, heading for the boardroom. You'll all see. As I walked out, I heard Linda Wong on the phone. Everything's in place. Send them in. For the first time in 5 years, I felt James's presence. Not in grief but in strength. The real story was just beginning. Inside the boardroom, the usual members were seated, handpicked by Victoria to support her agenda. But today there were new faces too. Faces that made Victoria's flawless composure slip. What is Wong Enterprises doing here? She demanded, seeing Linda's executives filing in. This is a private board meeting. Actually, Linda said smoothly, taking a seat. As of this morning, Wong Enterprises owns 15% of Chen Industries shares. We have every right to be here. Victoria's face paled. That's impossible. Those shares weren't for sale. They were James's personal shares, I said quietly. Held in a secret trust that matured today, exactly 5 years after his death. Opening the folder, I laid out documents across the polished table. And that's just the beginning. James left quite a paper trail before he died. Shall we start with the falsified research data you submitted to the FDA, Michael? Michael's face drained of color. You can't prove anything. James could. And did. I pulled out more papers. Or maybe we should discuss the offshore accounts where you've been hiding company profits, Rebecca. The ones you've been using to fund your gambling addiction. Rebecca's bracelet clattered against the table as her hand shook. You're making wild accusations. Victoria snapped. No one will believe. They'll believe this, Linda interrupted, nodding to her assistant. On the screen, a video began to play. There was James, vibrant and alive, recorded just weeks before his death. If you're watching this, he began, then everything I feared has come true. My family has tried to force Sarah out, just as they once tried to force me to divorce her. I gasped. This was news to me. James's voice carried through the silent boardroom. What you don't know, Sarah, is that they threatened to destroy our medical. The video continued. If you're watching this, Sarah, James's recorded voice said, steady yet sorrowful, then everything I feared has come true. My family has tried to force you out, just as they once tried to force me to leave you. They never forgave me for choosing love over their twisted version of loyalty. So I started gathering evidence, preparing for the worst. On the screen, images and documents appeared. Emails, financial records, wire transfers, even audio recordings. James had spent years building an ironclad case against his own family. The key in your locket, he continued, opens a safe deposit box at First National Bank. Inside are the originals. Every document, every recording, along with my personal shares in the company, transferred into a trust that matures 5 years after my death. I knew they would try to break you immediately, but I also knew you were strong enough to survive until this day. I'm so sorry for leaving you to face them alone, my love. But you were never truly alone. Linda has been watching over you, waiting for the right moment. And now, it's time for the truth to come out. The screen went black. For a long moment, silence hung in the boardroom. Then I rose, my voice steady. This, I said, pulling out the final document from the folder, is a detailed report of every illegal action taken by Victoria, Michael, and Rebecca Chen over the past decade. If you don't immediately resign from all positions and transfer your shares back to the company at market value, this goes straight to the SEC, the FBI, and every major news outlet tomorrow morning. You wouldn't dare, Victoria whispered, her face pale. You'll destroy the company's reputation. No, Linda Wong interrupted coolly. Wong Enterprises is prepared to purchase all surrendered shares to stabilize the company. The only reputations being destroyed here are yours. Rebecca's eyes narrowed. It was you all along. You and James, planning this together. No, I said firmly. James planned this to protect what we built together. To protect our legacy of saving lives. Not just making money. He knew what you were, even when I didn't want to see it. Over the next hour, papers were signed. Resignations were submitted. By sunset, Victoria, Michael, and Rebecca Chen were escorted out of the building, their corporate access revoked and their dynasty dismantled. What happens now? One board member asked nervously. I smiled, feeling peace for the first time in 5 years. Now we get back to what this company was meant to be. In the months that followed, Chen Industries transformed. We refocused on research and development, launched new medical devices, and established a foundation to help patients who couldn't afford treatment. Linda Wong became a trusted mentor and friend, guiding me through the challenges of leadership. The day we announced our newest breakthrough, a revolutionary treatment that would save thousands of lives, I visited James's grave. We did it, I whispered, resting my hand against the headstone. Everything we dreamed about. A soft voice behind me said, he would be so proud. I turned to see Maria Wong, Linda's daughter, now a bright-eyed medical student. I start my residency next month, she said shyly. I want to help people the way your device helped me. Looking at her, I saw the future James and I had envisioned. A world where innovation meant healing, not greed. Would you like to intern in our R&D department? I asked impulsively. We could always use fresh perspectives. Her face lit up. Really? I'd love to. That evening, sitting in what had once been our office, I opened the locket and looked at the tiny key that had changed everything. It had unlocked more than a safe deposit box. It had unlocked the truth, justice, and a future filled with purpose. Victoria and her children had vanished to Europe, their reputations in tatters. But I felt no triumph in their downfall. Instead, I felt gratitude for James's foresight, for Linda's patience, and for the chance to make a difference. On my desk sat a framed photo of James and me in our first tiny lab, young and full of dreams. Next to it stood a new photo, me with our R&D team, Maria among them, all wearing lab coats and bright smiles. The intercom buzzed. Mrs. Chen, the new patient trial results are in. I touched the locket one last time, then stood. James had given me more than evidence against his family. He had given me the strength to carry on our dream. And that was the greatest revenge of all.